The article of interest that I chose for this speech covers a debate topic that has emerged plenty of times over the past decade. The topic at hand deals with the debate over whether grass playing surfaces or turf playing surfaces are better for football players. The game of football is one of the most physically taxing sports, requiring those performing at the highest level to put their bodies on the line every time they step on the field. Among all sports, football arguably possesses the highest injury rate among its athletes, regardless of the level. These injuries can result from a variety of things. However, the topic at hand that I'll be talking about deals with a form of injury that has raised a level of dissension among athletes and teams. Non contact injuries apparently occurring as a result of the playing surfaces that athletes are playing on. Speculation has been raised over whether turf playing surfaces are harmful to athletes as a result of its tendency to induce non contact injuries at a much higher rate than grass playing surfaces. There's plenty of evidence to back this up. For instance, according to NFL injury data from 2012 through 2018, NFL athletes experienced a much higher rate of non contact lower extremity injuries on turf compared to natural surfaces. Also, players have a 28% higher rate of lower body non contact injuries playing on turf compared to grass. More specific data from this study says that players have a 32% higher rate of non contact knee injuries on turf and a staggering 69% higher rate of non contact foot and ankle injuries on turf compared to grass. These statistics support the shared feeling that turf playing surfaces are harsher on athletes' bodies and are more dangerous to play on. I am interested in this topic, in this debate question, because I grew up around sports and I enjoy staying up to date and watching football. Also, being a baseball player here at UK, I've experienced playing on both natural fields and turf fields, so there's a sense of familiarity with this topic. The consensus is that turf playing surfaces, albeit better looking and more cost conservative, possess a greater danger of injury than grass playing surfaces. Personally, I support this sentiment and agree that turf fields are not as giving on the body as grass fields are. I believe I possess a form of bias relating to this topic as I have experienced both surfaces, and I'm weighing my opinion based on my personal experiences. Here's some visual examples of here you can see Aaron Rodgers. And then you see Drake Greenlaw. Those are two examples of players that experienced non-contact injuries on turf while just literally running. That's not it doesn't usually happen on grass fields. The CRAP test is a test that assists individuals in knowing how to find relevant, reliable, and accurate information, which can assist you in finding credible sources. The C stands for currency. The article that I chose is written in 2020 and collected data spanning the 2010s, meaning it is relatively current. The data collected in the article still holds relevance because the game is relatively the same and both natural and turf surfaces are both utilized in the NFL and across all levels. The R measures the relevance of the article. The article I chose took statistics directly related to my topic and used them to explain a viewpoint, meaning it's strongly relevant to the topic. The first A pertains to the authority of the author. The article was written by a former NFL player named J.C. Tretter, who played in the league for 9 years and now holds the role of president of the NFL Players Association, an organization that directly correlates with NFL athletes and represents their best interests. As a former player, he can attribute his article to his playing experience. The other A is the accuracy, measuring the evidence supporting the information. The information in my article is supported by statistics taken directly from NFL games, highlighting its credibility and accuracy. Lastly, purpose deals with the intended audience of the article. My intended audience of the article that I chose is anyone concerned or interested in the topic at hand, which could consist of players and members of a team staff. All the generalizations and claims that I picked up are supported by evidence in my article as well. Lastly, we're going to talk about bias. One type of bias that might be present is slant bias, which is defined in the 16 types of media bias course material as when journalists tell only a part of the story or when they highlight or emphasize one particular angle or piece of information. In this case, the author, a former NFL player, may have been favoring one side of the debate by increasing the emphasis on his viewpoint due to his personal experience, which can sway the perception of the reader. Another type of bias is negativity bias, which is defined as the type of bias in which reporters emphasize bad or negative news or frame events in a negative light. This could be present in my article because the author is framing turf surfaces in a bad light and doesn't attempt to list any positives about it. Furthermore, another type of bias is the elite versus populace bias, which is when the information pertains to the viewpoints of society's most prestigious members or elites, or when it ignores the sentiments and sides with the public view, which is usually more generally accepted. In this case, a former NFL author, he could be viewed as the elite class, and his words could hold more weight because of that. As discussed, in conclusion, this is a very hot debate, which has a lot of repercussions for athletes across all sports. My article meets the CRAP test standards, as I talked about. There's 3 forms of relevant bias that I talked about: negativity bias, elite versus populist bias, and slant bias. And the ownership of the article definitely sways the perception of the reader, and relates to like the bias that I talked about. The ownership, the player being a former NFL player and writing about his personal experiences in an attempt to inform readers on what he experienced and what other athletes are experiencing. Thank you.